All right, everybody, welcome out to the And a Chaser Beer and Booze Show. It is Wednesday, April the 10th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you. And with me, as always, is none of them, the Nutty Samurai and the Whiskey Whisperer. How are you, gentlemen?
Hey, how we doing?
We're going nuts.
We're going nuts. I'm going nuts.
We're going nuts.
I am going nuts.
We have music now.
We used music. I figured we're gonna use a different opening. It's going to be another log song. That's another log song.
So you're gonna ask Harry in about an hour.
Harry and I are sitting down at some point later this week, and we're changing the theme song to the Get On With It Sports podcast, which, by the way, will be live tonight at 7:45 Eastern time. And we're going to add one for this show. However, the Logroom guys music will remain the same.
Yeah, I've gotten quite used to that song.
Yes, and so is everybody else. So
yeah, so I condone that. I
condone it as well. Tom, you good with that?
I'm okay.
All right. There you go.
Makes me never mind. No sweat off my balls one way or the other.
There you go.
No sweat off.
You should say.
Yes, there you go.
No sweat off
your nuts.
No sweat off your nuts. Exactly. Speaking of nuts,
that's the thing differently.
Which nuts?
These nuts. Right. So speaking of nuts, it's funny that we're all in a nutty mood tonight because that is exactly what we're doing tonight. We are drinking nutty cocktails and nutty beer. So there you go. Why don't we start with the Nutty Samurai? Nutty Samurai.
We're starting with cocktails?
Well, you could say what both of them are if you want.
I'm gonna start with my cocktail. Should I make my cocktail now? We just
make your cocktail and talk about it.
Well, Tom talk about his while I'm making mine.
There you go, Tom. You talk about yours, and then Dave and I will make ours.
All right, you guys do that. So as you know, when I got the word yesterday, thanks for the lead time, guys.
You're welcome.
When I got the word yesterday that we're going to do.
We just decided it then too. So I mean,
I played around with some different ideas, and so the final result was a nutty old fashioned, and I'm using the Hochatown single barrel cask bourbon at 120 proof. Let me show you that. They're out of Oklahoma. But this also includes, let me show this to you, my homemade coconut almond simple syrup using raw sugar. So coconuts, shaved, unsweetened coconut and almonds to make that simple syrup. So I've got 2 ounces of the whiskey, about 1 ounce of the simple syrup, 1 ounce of the Di Serrano, the amaretto, and a few dashes, a few dashes of toasted almond bitters.
Very nice.
Oh, that sounds quite yummy there, Tom.
So I've got a nutty old fashioned.
That should be nutty as fuck.
A nutty old fashioned. You just described.
We can call it these nuts old fashioned.
There we go. I don't know. I wonder what Russian.
I hate to pat myself on the back too much, but that is beautiful.
I'm wondering. You're hearing me stir my cocktail with my beautiful.
I thought you were sending a telegraph.
I thought it was.
I'm trying to figure out what's Russian for D's nuts, because I've made a nutty Russian.
Nutty Russian. Look at you.
So this is 1 part Di Serrano, 1 part coffee liqueur, and 3 parts vodka, and then you just fill the rest of the rock glass up with some half and half.
There you go. Okay.
Very nice.
And
what are you doing, John?
Yeah, and that works. I like that a lot. And I did I was doing full ounces on each of these, which is great because I have a 9 p.m. business meeting. I should be nice and loose for that.
There you go.
If some of you weren't sure, the garnish of my glass is a coconut stick. That's coconut.
A coconut stick.
Yeah.
I thought he said a coconut's dick.
This is
Nutty Cocktail Show.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
And Tom went and split the difference.
There we go. Just cleaning up my bar tub here. Hold on, I just gotta stir.
There you go.
There we go.
You don't make as much noise as I do when I stir.
No. I try to be stealth in my stirring. So
stealth. Yeah, so very stealth in that shirt.
Well, the shirt's not enough. I don't need to make any more noise.
Jesus. If you're just listening to this, you really need to tune in.
You just take that out the shit.
Just for a brief second, but and here's a good opportunity to recycle those Eclipse glasses.
There you go.
Put those on first before you stare directly into that shirt.
Exactly. All right. So for my cocktail, I started with. All right. First of all, it's a riff on my maple black walnut bitter old fashioned, right? So instead of maple syrup,
which is a fan favorite,
instead of maple syrup, I used a little Sugar Bob's smoked maple syrup.
Oh, well, look at you.
All righty. And of course, since we were going maple, it's the first one of these I made with this bottle. I'm going to have to drive back up to Bethlehem and get another bottle of this. I'm more than halfway through it. The Sasquatch, the vanilla maple bourbon. And then, of course, black walnut bitters.
And that's how you dip some nuts in it.
And that's how you dip some nuts in it. And there you go. There's the...
okay, cheers.
And I got cheers.
Cilantro.
For me, it's Prost.
Cilantro.
You mean soap?
Not for me. Oh, my God, that's so good. Guys, here, take a sip of this.
I think we're all... Oh,
my God.
I think we're all enamored with our creations tonight.
Hey, I'm pretty proud of myself, Ash.
That's funny because if you
I may make another one and have it on the sports podcast. But
tell you one thing, I may make another one and have it during my business
during your meeting, exactly.
Well, I had several different ideas for this cocktail, but I was always missing an ingredient. So I took a stock of what I had, look at my bitters, look at my bar cart, said, okay, we're going to make it work. So I am not going to the store.
There you go. Well, there you go.
Yeah, there it is.
Awesome.
And if you've watched any of us with our cocktails, especially on at the pub with
any of the Tom's
beer whisperer. There have been times where we've made cocktails and we're not always happy with them. We always, hey, that could use a tweak. But I think tonight, we all dialed our drinks in.
Oh, this is so good. I mean, the smokiness, the smokiness from the maple syrup is like President knows, really, really nice. It's not overpowering, but it's there. It's got you right. And then the sweetness from the maple syrup, right? With not minus the smoke, but just along with the smoke when you sip it at first. It's amazing. And then those black walnut bitters hit you on the back end, but the bourbon is just perfect. I mean, I'm really, really digging this. I really like this.
It sounds beautiful. I love the idea of the smoked maple syrup.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it says, let's show this to you, okay? So it's Sugar Bob's smoked maple syrup. It says right there. See, it's for the kitchen, bar, and grill. So the grill is the grill. The martini glass is the bar. Why is a chicken for the kitchen? I'm trying to figure that out.
Because that's where you kill them.
In the kitchen.
And cook them.
Bring that chicken in here.
You don't know where Sugar Bob's from.
That's true. That is true. Well, there's one way to find out. Let's just look on the back. Sugar Bob is from Rutland, Vermont.
But it's very possible. And John, the bottle that you have there is $22 on Amazon.
It's $22 on Amazon. I paid less for that than
not bad. I would definitely
not much. I paid 20. I paid 20. But I paid 20 at the store I get it from. So
I would definitely pay that. That's for sure.
Yep, and when
so 22 from Amazon is not bad if you can't get to the store.
Yep, and I do have a couple things from Amazon that I'm going to have to order when I get back from vacay. So very nice.
Yeah, add that on there. It's worth it. It's so good. Yeah. This stuff's so good. Yeah. Cool. All right, what are the beers we're drinking?
Oh,
we are doing that too. That's what the drink's only half of the show.
You want me to go, and I'll go into the spiel here.
Go into the spiel.
Go into the spiel. Go ahead. I'm gonna pour mine and take the obligatory picture while you spiel away.
I cannot tell you how many beers I have in my beer fridge in the pantry. I got stuff just everywhere. And I didn't have one beer with nuts in it. I've got espresso, coconut, horchata.
Coconut's a nut.
Coconut is a nut.
Coconut's a nut.
Kinds of things. I even have a baklava beer out there, but nothing nut specific. So I decided to improvise.
But Tom,
baklava beer. So.
Baklava beer, really? But Tom,
yeah, it might have had a flavor of nuts, but then again, I thought that's not quite what I'm looking for. Again, I wanted to stay in the theme of my cocktails, so here's what I decided to do. But you guys know I love to improvise.
But Tom, real quick, coconuts are nuts, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, coconut is a nut.
Coconut's not a nut, is it, dear?
Coconut's a nut. It's got nut right in the name. It's a
Just like
coconut.
peanuts do.
Anyways, so here's what I got here. I've got the Next Evolution
It's actually not
barley
a nut.
wine. It's a barley wine aged in white oak. It's 11% from Banter Brewing. So here's what I decided to do to make it nutty was to take an ounce of my simple syrup that I made without having a Randall to do this properly. We just added the flavor. I figure since it's 11%, it could take that.
I think you're right. I think it can take it.
Yeah. Let us know how that is.
Oh, damn. Nut. My wife says a coconut is a fruit, not a nut.
It is not a nut. It is not.
It's not a nut. We were kidding.
Oh,
Like I said,
that really works. Of course, you guys know what a barley wine will do, especially aged.
yeah.
I've got those beautiful oak flavors. This particular barley wine is big and bold, a lot of brown sugar, molasses notes. But adding the coconut and the almond to this, those amaretto-like notes, really just elevates it. Oh, that's gorgeous, man! And I don't figure I don't know the science. I don't know how many percentage points I knocked the ABV down, but I'm thinking I'm still good.
Yeah,
So
you probably knocked it down 0.1, Tom.
Oh gosh, so we're probably at about a 10.
I don't think you knocked down a whole percentage.
No, I don't think
probably like 0.2% maybe you knocked
at most.
Gosh, that's delicious. That really makes it a nice fireplace dessert beer, adding those coconut and almond notes.
There you go.
It depends on how much you added to it, of course.
That's true.
It's all the ratio.
I added 1 ounce even.
To 16 ounces of beer?
Probably closer to 12.
12, so 112. Yeah, it's maybe
I didn't put the whole beer in there.
Maybe a couple percentage points.
A couple tenths, yeah.
Gosh, that's delicious.
Samurai, what beer are you drinking?
Well, there is a reason I put on a Hawaiian shirt, because the beer I'm drinking is Mac Nutty. This is a macadamia nut brown ale.
Oh, there we go.
And this is from Ireland. It's on Lough-Gill. I did drink that on Lager Room, guys.
You drank that a couple weeks ago in the Lager Room.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, and I still have a few more. I brought them back from the Adirondacks with me, like a 4-pack, and
back from the decks.
Cool. Been keeping it cool in this, and because man, it's amazing how cool these things keep beer.
Very nice, very nice. My beer is from Backwoods Brewing in Stevenson, Washington. It is a pecan pie porter.
Oof! We've got so many nuts represented here. We've got walnuts represented. We got almonds represented. We got macadamias, pecans, and coconuts. It's
just shy of 6%. It's 5.9%. So it's not totally up there, but pours really nice. And I haven't even taken a sip of it yet, and I have not had a beer yet. So I'm about to.
I'm coming at 5.5 on mine. So.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. A little thin. Little thin.
What's the style again?
But nice. It's a porter.
It's a porter. Okay.
It's a porter. I like my porters a little. I don't like my porters. I don't want a stout, right? I like a little.
I want a stout.
Well, no, I'm saying
in your porter.
In my porter, I don't want it to be a stout. If I wanted a stout, I'd have a stout. But when I drink a porter, I want a little bit of a mouthfeel to it. So this is. I mean, it's not horrible. It's not water, but. It's a little on the thin side for me, but the flavors are fantastic.
So more like a brown ale's body than a porter's body.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm drinking a brown ale, and this does have the appropriate body for the for a nut brown ale. And nut brown ales don't actually have nuts in them. It's the description of the color.
Right.
But this one actually does have nuts in it. So with the macadamia nuts, and when I bought this. I was intrigued because I was afraid because the macadamia is the oiliest of the nuts. So I was afraid that oil would impact the beer, and it didn't. The beer it's still soft. It's got a clean mouthfeel to it. So I'm impressed that they were able to use some macadamia nuts. I wonder if they used powdered macadamias.
Maybe.
Because I think if they used whole macadamias, they would release too much oil into the beer. and I don't think you'd be able to. You'd have to rest it on the macadamia nuts, but then you'd still get the oil in the beer.
Yep.
Because there's no way you could put them in the boil kettle with all that oil. There's no way. I don't think the yeast. I don't think the yeast would flocculate if you did that.
It would what?
I know he said for me to go do something to myself. I heard.
Yeah. So I love the word flocculate because it sounds so dirty.
I heard something dirty. Not in public, man.
But it's actually a scientific term of what yeast did. The process
I love
of
it when
yeast
Dave
turning
sounds
stuff
smart.
into it.
I love it when Dave sounds smart.
Oh, never. It's
Occasionally he does.
occasionally I smell.
Absolutely.
But most of the time I just sound like
exactly
like that.
Well, that was actually me after last Saturday night. No, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, that too. Never mind. Exactly. So anyway, all right. So we have our drinks. Yeah, this beer is really matching well with this. I'm really, this is really good. I really am enjoying this cocktail. It's really good.
I just made Dream pour the beer and just finish the cocktail.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make more of that simple syrup because that just came out better than I anticipated. With the
almond and coconut, huh?
Almond and coconut simple syrup. And man, I think I'm gonna do it again, but I think I'll add a little vanilla to it.
How did you tell everybody? Anybody
coconut flakes and probably not sweetened, right?
Yeah. How did you make the simple syrup? How did you make the coconut and almond? What was your process?
Equal parts water, sugar, but I use raw sugar because you get a cleaner flavor than granulated sugar. Anyways, yes, Dave was right. I used a flaked unsweetened coconut and then almonds, sliced almonds, and I just let it sit as long as possible in that hot water that gets all those flavors into that.
And you probably
the longer I let that sit, the more coconut and the more almond flavor came out. It was gorgeous. The only thing I might do different next time, like I said, is add maybe a little bit of vanilla to it.
Now your almonds, I'm sure you used raw sliced almonds. You probably didn't.
Yes,
right. You're not going to get as much flavor out of blanched.
No, raw almonds. Yes.
Now let me ask you: Did you boil the flaked coconut unsweetened and the raw sliced almonds in the water first, and then add the sugar to the appropriate amount of water? Or
I did not.
Put everything in at the same time.
Put the hot water over it, put the boiling water over it because I wanted those flavors to mix and meld
with the sugar. Everything at the same time.
With the sugar, yes. And then I stirred
the syrup first, right?
I stirred continuously until that sugar was dissolved, and I covered it so those flavors would just continue to meld.
Mm-hmm. And about how long did you let it simmer for?
Well, I mean, I just let it sit there as long as so the water was off the stove, right, or off the kettle. I used an electric kettle to heat the water.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So once everything was combined and the sugar melted and turned into simple syrup, you removed it from the heat and just let it sit.
Yes.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Yeah, because there's so many ways to do this. Like what
Yeah, so I actually used an electric kettle, and then I had one container that I had the sugar, the coconut, and the almonds, poured the water in, stirred up till it dissolved, and then I covered it. It wasn't on the heat at this point, but it still had the heat from the hot water because I wanted to continually get that flavor from the coconut and the almonds.
Yeah, like another way to go about doing these things, but probably not. The ingredients you're using that you're flavoring it with, it's going to probably dictate how you do it. Because the cinnamon simple syrup that I made, I put the sugar and the water in a pot, put that over the flame, and once the sugar had dissolved, and I threw in about 3 cinnamon sticks, then I simmered it down for probably about 15 minutes to get all that cinnamon flavor into it. So there's so many different ways to go about doing that. Tom's is more of a steeping, mine's more of a
basically
boiling.
Yeah. And I just let it sit as long as possible. The longer I let it sit, the more coconut and almond flavor imparted into the simple syrup.
Yeah. So, but the point here is, folks, make your own simple syrup. It's really easy.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Equal parts water, equal parts sugar, and then whatever else you want to put in it.
Between bitters and simple syrups, I'm obsessed with both.
I've not made my own bitters yet.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't made bitters, but I mean the flavors of bitters.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Tried to match my own homemade simple syrups to the flavors of bitters that I could find to, make that perfect cocktail. I'm obsessed with that idea at this moment.
I obsess over that too. I have done it both. I have done it both ways. I haven't removed it from the heat though, like you did.
Neither have I. I like it to simmer.
I let it simmer a little bit, but I've done it the other way too, where I've actually boiled and it wasn't coconut and almonds, right? But I'll just say that for this particular point, right? Boil the coconut and almonds in the water until it's like for boil like not a rolling boil, but a little bit more than simmering, right? For 10 minutes or so, extract some of those flavors out of the those solids or whatever, and then remove it, strain it out, and then put it back in the pot with the sugar equal parts and make the simple.
Oh, so you do it opposite of me. I get the sugar made first, then infuse the flavors.
Well, I've done it both ways, but I don't really. I'll be honest with you. I can't remember noticing a difference either way.
Yeah, I think the whole point is just getting those flavors into the syrup, no matter how you make that syrup, no matter what your methodology is. Because let's face it, you can make a simple syrup by making simple syrup and cold infusing by letting it just sit on something.
Let it sit on it. Yeah, that's it.
It's going to take longer, mind you.
Yeah.
The more heat that you have, the more you're going to pull out of whatever ingredient you're trying to infuse into your simple syrup.
I got to try Tom's way though. I've done it. Like I said, I've done it where I've simmered it first and then added the sugar and removed the solids and then added the sugar. I've done it, Dave, your way, put everything in and then let it simmer. But I haven't done Tom's way. I haven't brought it, just let it. Like what Tom did, he combined the sugar
with all the ingredients,
with the ingredients, and then poured the boiling water over it, mixed it until it was combined, and let it sit.
Let it sit, yeah.
So I have a lot of different ways to do it, but there's I really do want to get more simple syrups under my belt per se. You know what else is under my belt? These nuts. Sorry, but I don't have any more available squeeze tubes because I like to put them in the squeeze tubes and put them, and I mark them. I'll write on them what's in it, and then I'll put those in the fridge. So
you threw me there for a second. You said what's under the belt? These nuts. And you said I don't have any more squeeze tubes. I didn't know where you were going. I just like.
Well, when you get a rash, you need a squeeze tube or something.
You got to do that anyway. But yeah, no, that's actually a good idea. Put the squeeze tubes and mark them right on there, so they're readily accessible and ready to go whenever you.
The one hint is don't write too large because you're going to cross that out and put something else on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So my cinnamon one will always have that cinnamon simple syrup in it. I fell in love with that cinnamon simple syrup. Oh my god, the first Manhattan, and I think I did it on Tom's show. Right, I did it at the pub where I made a Manhattan with that cinnamon simple syrup.
Yes, you did. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't. You know what though? I mean, squeeze tubes are cheap enough, right? Just get enough for the ones you're doing. Because here's the other thing:
it's not the cost, and it's not having enough. It's having space in the fridge to keep them.
Well, no, no, I get it, right? But what I meant by that was you don't necessarily have to get them all done at the same time because once you don't have. You can throw them in a box or whatever. My point is to label them. The more you do them, right? You put them in storage, right? The more you do them, right? Especially like take for instance your cinnamon, right?
That's not going to get any better. It's not
even that. It's just that depending on how strong the flavor profile and whatever simple syrup you're making is, you don't want any of that flavor to leach into the tube, and then you make something else, and now that affects that.
But John, you know what's going to happen. You know me.
You're going to use them before that can happen.
No. What's going to happen is I'm going to make this simple syrup, and I'm always going to want to have them on hand. So I will have one whole fridge of nothing but simple syrups. I'll have a small beer fridge of nothing but simple syrup.
See, that's my issue at the moment in time is
Exactly.
So I've got to be careful, but you're absolutely right. The flavors will leach into that plastic, and so reusing. The only time I think that I would reuse a squeeze bottle is if I made a simple syrup that just didn't come out the way I wanted to and came out too weak.
Right.
Because I tried that wasn't a simple syrup. That was the other thing I've gotten into is infusing liquors. And I did a ginger rum, and the ginger just didn't get pulled out enough in it. You really could barely taste the ginger.
Okay.
So I've got to figure out a way to really And it may come down to, again, like we said earlier, it may come down to the thing is you don't want to boil the rum. You don't want to boil off any of the alcohol, but you want to heat it enough that it's going to pull more of it rather than just sitting room temperature rum on ginger.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you heat the ginger first.
Maybe.
Get the ginger aromatic, then toss it in.
And then toss it in there. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, you got a bunch of kids over there?
I don't know if she's watching next door. And in the room next. But yeah, I heard that. I don't know what she's watching, but yeah, I heard it. I'm like, there's no kids running around.
So
over here, it's just my production manager, and she's not saying a word.
Your production manager. There you go. But
we were just telling our guests yesterday how how if your wife's not there, your tech's a little spotty.
It is. It really is.
She's your tech support.
She's my lighting director, my production assistant.
Production assistant. She's the production manager.
Production manager, yes. He handles it.
And you're not even savvy enough to be the assistant, Tom.
I tell people that she's the management. I'm the talent.
There you go. Yeah,
you almost made me choke on that one. Like any of us have any talent.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I tell that to cashiers as we're checking out. So she's the brains, I'm the talent, and they usually like it.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that line from Bruce Almighty? Jim Carrey said, behind every man is a good woman rolling her eyes.
Yes. Always. What's really interesting is, John, when I drank this beer on our show,
mm-hmm.
The macadamia didn't really come forward.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking it with this, I don't know what's happening, but I think the sweetness of this is killing all the malts in the brown.
So you got the sweetness of it.
Oh,
and I'm getting the
macadamia.
The macadamia, I'm actually tasting it a lot more now, pairing it with this. Because when you pair, there's so many different ways, there's so many different effects that you can get from pairing. If you've got contrasting, sometimes that works where they're contrasting. One's refreshing the other. Sometimes you've got ones that have, that are almost complementary where they've got equal flavors, but the flavors that aren't in there, that they're not sharing, will then pop out.
Right.
And that's another way. A great example is IPAs and carrot cake. The spice of an IPA, of a spicy IPA, and a spicy carrot cake. All of a sudden, you taste the carrot. You really taste the carrot.
You can taste the carrot. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's amazing.
Carrot cake, and I haven't done it often, but the couple of times that I have done it, once just by mistake, and then once again because I wanted to see if I actually remembered it correctly. You actually taste the carrot.
The carrot pops out, and if someone puts pecans in it, those will pop out as well, right? Because sometimes people put some nuts in it. So there's so many different ways to pair things. And you know what? The more of these shows that we do, the more we'll probably talk about how things pair and how the flavors are altered from one to the other by this. So there's a lot to learn here. And you know what? I think for even the three of us as we move along, because, hey, the second you stop learning, you might as well die. Just lie down. Just constantly learn. Be inquisitive. Be curious.
Just learn. That's it. Just keep and experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to be the smartest tool in the shed to figure out if you like cocktails and you like simple syrups and you like different flavors. Screw around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or the worst that's going to happen is you're going to dump what you make.
Yep. And you never know until you try. You never know.
Or hold your nose and pour it down your throat if the ingredients were too expensive.
Right. Yeah.
There's one thing, and this was a great word of wisdom that I heard at a bar once, is that when you've got the bartenders, when they're making one of the more expensive drinks, expensive ingredients will go in last. Because what they'll do is they'll put the cheaper ingredients in first, taste, make sure they got the balance right for the more expensive. Then you start adding the more expensive ingredients. So if you do have to pour it, you're not pouring the expensive, the good stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Cool. So, but that's and the key, especially if you're pouring for somebody else, not necessarily for you, but it works for you as well. If you're making for a loved one, a straw. Dip the straw in, put your finger on the top, pull it out. That way you're not drinking from the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only other thing I would add to that's kind of on top of what you said there, Dave, was that your cocktail is only as good as the ingredients you put in it. A lot of folks will question putting, top shelf liquor in a cocktail, but if you put bottom shelf liquor in, you're going to get a bottom shelf cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
True, but there's reasons some bottles are called mixers.
Well, that's true. But if you're making a whiskey forward or booze forward cocktail, you've got to use top of the line ingredients.
Here's my thing with that, right?
You've got to use good ingredients.
You're both right, and I'll tell you why. All right, if you're making like a booze forward, an old fashioned, a Manhattan, so forth.
Let's use Manhattan as the example.
Right, a Manhattan, right? A martini. Okay, seriously, a martini. Right? Any of those, even a gin and tonic to a point, but still, especially.
Not even to a point. Straight up, yes, a gin and tonic.
Okay, so you want
gin and tonic is undrinkable.
It's gonna undrinkable. Yeah. So old fashioned Manhattan martini, vodka or gin, a gin and tonic, any of those. You want better quality bourbon, better quality gin, better quality vodka. You want that. If you're making a whiskey sour, it doesn't matter because all you're tasting is it depends on the drink you're making, right? If you're making an Alabama Slammer, it doesn't matter. If it's
whatever in the bar rack,
it doesn't matter. Well, stuff's fine for that, right? Yeah, but if it's booze, so if it's fruit forward, sugar forward, sour forward, whatever, as long as it's not absolute garbage, it's gonna basically taste similar.
I'm going to agree with you 98%.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you right now, I am not going to make a Manhattan with a 23-year-old pappy.
Well, there's a limit. There's a limit. I'm not talking about that.
There's a range.
I would never do that. Yeah.
But you're not going to use 10 high either, right? I mean, there's some
No, when I make a Manhattan, when I make just a basic Manhattan where I'm just sitting at home, it's Makers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use Makers. Makers is not bottom shelf. It's also not top shelf. It's that mid shelf.
Then again, go back to that line. Your cocktail is only as good as the ingredients you put in it.
Yeah.
There's my Manhattan. There's my Manhattan.
Yeah, that's perfect for Manhattan. That's a step up from Makers right there.
Right.
I'm not going to put my Four Roses single barrel. My Four Roses single barrel. It's not going in Manhattan.
It's sitting there. There you go.
Sitting right there.
I would definitely do Four Roses single barrel in a Manhattan, absolutely, because you're going to taste.
I would put Four Roses single barrel in a Manhattan is fantastic.
Not a single barrel, but maybe what's the one step down? I would do it in Manhattan, but maybe not the single barrel.
Single barrel in Manhattan.
What I love about single barrels is every bottle is different.
Mm-hmm.
Every bottle that you get's different, and I love to just taste it. To me, that's a sipping bourbon. It's not a mixing bourbon. For me, this is just me. I would never mix with a single barrel. I want to taste that. But the next step down, always is a blend, and it's always consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those all mix with. Right, and I forget what the next level down is for Four Roses, but I would absolutely make a Manhattan with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make a Manhattan with Eagle Rare. That's not a single barrel.
Sure.
But I'm not making Manhattan with the Blantons.
No.
Definitely would. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I want to taste every.
Oh, there's some
that barrel.
Look, there's some bourbons that that fit.
Manhattan, you're going to taste the liquor. It's a Manhattan. You're going to taste the whiskey. That's why you use a whiskey you love the flavor of. You're not using a bottom shelf whiskey when you're making Manhattan. That's the whole point of a Manhattan.
No, I would never use the bottom shelf to a Manhattan. Never. But I'm not going to use.
There's probably a few things that I wouldn't put in a Manhattan, but any of the higher up, like I said, the Buffalo Trace is my go-to for Manhattans. Whatchamacallit? I like the Makers.
I like the Makers. It has a little more sweetness to it.
I'll tell you what I won't do. The first time I buy a bourbon that I've never had before, I will.
You got to taste it. You got to taste it neat.
That bottle is, maybe towards the end of the bottle, I'll make a cocktail or two with it.
Yeah,
at the beginning of the bottle. But there's one actually I can't bring myself. You know how I am with Bib and Tucker. I love Bib and Tucker.
Right? Yeah, you're not going to make a Manhattan with Bib and Tucker.
No, but you could, and it would be fantastic.
It would be fantastic,
right? But I can't bring myself to make even an old fashioned or anything with Bib and Tucker. I just love it neat or straight.
Maybe that's where the bones are being picked here, or the nits are being picked here. It's not that they won't work; it's that you enjoy it so much, you're not going to mix with it.
That could be.
Yeah,
that's what I don't. I get what you're saying, Tom. I absolutely 100% get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. But if I really, really enjoy that bourbon, I don't need anything in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I get that.
That's probably a better way to put what I'm trying to say.
For me, it becomes about curiosity. I need to know what that whiskey will react to, right? So I try almost everything I buy as a Manhattan, if only once, because I want to know how it reacts in that application.
Okay, that's fair.
Because some blend better than others. You can still taste it. Some are better served just neat, and that's the way they are the best. But you never know until you try.
I'll have to do that with the next bottle of Bib and Tucker I get. I'm going to have to make
which goes to John's point. Experiment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I've ever poured any Bib and Tucker into an old fashioned or a Manhattan or anything. I think I've only drank it neat or straight.
So your next Bib and Tucker you're going to do.
I will do one Manhattan and one old fashioned with that bottle. The rest of it I'm keeping for pour it over.
No, on this show you will do a Manhattan with it.
I'll do a Manhattan with it. Done
on this show, and you know what? We'll make that show.
I'll wear a bib, and you show up as a guy named Tucker.
Carlson? No.
No. I'm sure there's more than one Tucker.
No. I show up as a Tucker car. We're not old enough for
okay. I know a guy named Tucker. He's a nice guy. He's a cool guy.
Okay. That's cool.
Worked at a brewery with me years
ago. Maybe one day we do we do a show.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the next one. But we do a show where we do cocktails with bottles we would never have thought to have done a cocktail with before. Would never.
Oh, okay.
I'll do a Manhattan. I'll do a Manhattan with Bib and Tucker. Dave, you make an old fashioned with.
No, I'm not making an old fashioned.
Well, we should do just a Manhattan show. All three of us do our.
There you go.
Old fashioned. A Manhattan show with our favorite.
Yeah.
Which means I've got to.
You've got to do a blend.
I got to drop $120 on a blend.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. If you're spending more than $50, you're an idiot.
Hey, but the thing is, you can't. I love Blanton's, and unfortunately, I've been drinking Blanton's since it was like $35 a bottle. And
so you're the reason.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I told too many people. People fell in love with the damn stuff.
All I'm saying is,
I did the same thing with Old Fitzgerald.
Don't worry about it. Same $50. There's whiskeys just as good right now at your store.
But that's 100%. Not the point of the show, Tom. The point of the show is taking your favorite bourbon.
Okay.
Regardless of the price, and making Manhattan out.
I did the same thing with Old Fitzgerald. Old Fitzgerald's Fitzgerald's every bit as good. Maybe not 23-year-old Pappy, but like 18-year-old Pappy. Yeah. Old Fitzgerald's every bit as good as that. And it used the first time I bought a bottle of it, I think it was $50-something, and you can't touch it for less than $200 and something.
Nope, because people find out eventually. Mm-hmm. But okay, so the other thing we have to agree upon if we're going to do that show is the recipe. The recipes have to be exactly the same.
So same vermouth. We got to use the same vermouth.
Same vermouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm partial to Antica for Manhattans because I think that is the vermouth for Manhattans.
It's a good vermouth.
Same bitters,
mm-hmm.
And we all love the black walnut bitters. So I think that's a given.
I'm fine with that.
Right, Tom? Black walnut bitters, Tom?
I wasn't thinking that direction, but okay. See, my thought was that we would bring a bourbon or whiskey or whatever, an unlikely Manhattan, but then use our own spin, our own creativity with the vermouth and the bitters to get the flavor, get the best flavor out of that particular whiskey.
But my point is, this is more the scientific process. The scientific process.
But unless we're using the exact same whiskey, there is no scientific process.
And not only that, we're not going to be able to taste each other.
Well, we're not going to be able to taste each other's, right. But in that, you just change one thing at a time. If we're spinning on our favorites, that's a different take on it. So maybe we'll do that. Take a spin on it, and knowing these are our favorites, we've tasted it already. Because like John's point, when you open it up, you're taking the taste. You know what it tastes like.
I don't. I like both ideas, but I like Tom's better because, and for this reason, right? If I'm going to make a Manhattan with Bibb and Tucker per se, right? I know how I like my Manhattan, right? So I want to make my Manhattan the way I like making it with the bourbon that I have.
I like that. Okay, so yes, we'll put our own. But the one thing I'll challenge on that is, Tom, because I know what you mean by your own spin, and your own spin can get absolutely nutty to stay with the theme.
Hello.
But
it will be just the whiskey, the vermouth, and the bitters. I won't add anything else.
Exactly. Let's keep it.
My idea is that if I'm picking,
I always put two looks.
The vermouth I use and the bitters I use are always determined by the whiskey I choose.
Perfect. Then that's what we'll do. As long as it's still the same,
just those same
ingredients.
Yep.
With alterations in it.
That's a dark cherry garnish. Has to be a dark cherry garnish.
I always put a Luxardo or two in mine. So
I've got two different things because there's and Tom turned me on to them. There is a less expensive version of Luxardos out there, right? Tom, you're the one who turned me on to those.
The Collins.
Yes, those. I have those in the fridge. But I've also told you how I make my Manhattan cherries.
Yeah, see, that works too. I'm okay with that, yeah.
Whereas I get the maraschino, I drain them, and I just keep wanting water until as much of that friggin' red food dye is out of there because cancer. And then I fill the bottle up with rye and let them sit in there. And I'll tell you one thing, every time I've made someone a Manhattan, I warn them about the damn cherry. They always forget about the damn cherry, and then that cherry gets into their mouth, and they take one bite of it, and they're like, "Don't go there! Don't go there!"
No. Well, I wasn't going there. But quick aside, years ago at the Firemen's Convention down in Wildwood, right? And this was I was on two departments, as you know. I was on North Arlington and Fairlawn. Yeah. So years ago, back in the '80s, North Arlington. Across the street from us was Fairlawn, right? So it's years before I was on Fairlawn, I knew the guys because we always would party with them across the street in their hotel at the convention, right? So every year, this one guy who wound up being on my company when I moved to Fairlawn and joined that department, he would take an entire jug of cherries, okay, and he'd dump all of the juice out, so it's just the cherries.
The maraschino cherries or
what's that? He didn't use maraschino. He didn't use maraschino. He used, but a big, a number 8 jar, big container of cherries. He'd dump at convention. He did this. He would dump all the juice out, all the liquid out, right? And he would fill the bottle up with grain alcohol, with Everclear.
Oh, come on. Yeah, that's
okay.
classic.
We used to call those cherry bombs back in the day.
Yes.
And then hold on, I'm not done yet. And he would cap it, tape it, date it, and put it away, and pull out last year's.
Yeah.
And then we ate last year's cherry.
That's a cherry bomb.
Yes.
Yeah, those are cherry bombs.
Year cherries that sat in Everclear for a year. That's what we would eat. 2 of those, you were done.
Oh yeah, that'll wreck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
But they were interesting. And then so there you go.
That's funny.
Fun times.
Cherry bombs. Oh, it's been a minute since I've done a cherry bomb.
So anyway, I'm definitely gonna have another one of these on the sports show tonight.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're gonna watch when we're done here, which is very, very soon. We're gonna be watching this show. I may make another one for the to watch the show with.
You're watching Shogun, right?
I'm gonna watch Shogun. I gotta say, if you've not watched an episode of Shogun yet, do so. This series is really pretty good. I'm really, really enjoying it.
Jess and I are just about done. We had to wait until Netflix caught up with it, but we're just about done with. We've been watching Blacklist, since
Oh wow! Yeah.
So we're just about. I think we got 6 episodes left of season 10, and it's done. Right.
Yeah.
So we just decided we want a show to replace that. We watch other shows too, right? But we want a show to replace that one. So sticking in the James Spader mode, we're going back, and we're actually going to go back and watch Boston Legal.
Oh, that was a great show.
Wow, that's the other one we're watching at the same time is because this was a cartoon out when my kids were watching cartoons. Avatar: Last Airbender, the live action one, because M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, his version of it, and yeah, he destroyed it. It was awful.
It was really awful, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. This is such redemption. Yes, the acting it isn't all that great because they're all kids. But what they've done visually, they have absolutely 100% matched the cartoon, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It was one of the best cartoon serials on TV, right? Yeah. There's not a lot of cartoon serials out there. That Clone Wars, maybe Star Blazers, right? Those were.
I was going to say serials, SERIALS, serial,
which means
I was like cartoon serials, CERAEAL.
Yes, Lucky Charms. That's a cartoon serial.
Cartoon serial,
but they're magically delicious.
They are just like these nuts. Sticking with the nuts theme. But yeah, no. If you would watch the cartoon, the live action one that they have now with the CGI. They're just nailing the visuals. It's really, really well done.
Fair enough.
Acting, but again, remember, they're kids.
They're kids.
Yep.
They're kids. They're just kids. That's all it is. By the way, I don't know if you noticed or not, but we were able to actually connect. I guess it was a 2-week waiting period from the first show. We're actually able to connect on StreamYard, connect to the Facebook page for Enda.
Oh, nice.
Woot. Woot. Big woot.
Alrighty then.
And I actually shared it on the Beer Whisperer, but for some reason it said the admin had to approve.
The admin? Who the hell's the admin of that thing?
He's an old drunk. He's just an old drunk.
Yeah.
Who just doesn't get technology.
Well, here's what's funny.
He really doesn't. I'll go back and see if I can. Sometimes I miss the notification.
Here's what's funny though too. I shared it on Massachusetts Let's Talk Craft Beer, and it said the admin has to approve it first.
You're the admin.
I'm the admin.
That's funny.
Well,
gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Well, you got to remember what was the Florida one for a while had to be approved, and that
every time I post the Log Room Guys show coming up on the Florida page, it says I get a push notification right away. It says needs to be approved, and then 3 seconds later, an admin just approved your post.
You know why?
You put it on auto approve
because the admin in his great infinite wisdom. Put it on auto approve. That admin is one of the best admins out there, the Florida one.
There you go.
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
There you go. He's good.
Who's the admin of that place?
That would be you.
Oh, that's me.
It's amazing. We both live in New Jersey, and he's the admin of Florida, Utah, and Rhode Island. I'm the admin of Massachusetts, Wisconsin, Minnesota, California, and New York. Well, New York, at least I'm close with New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but
he
used to be the admin in New Jersey, but then he gave it up.
Oh, I gave that up because the New Jersey Let's Talk Craft Beer. Let's face it, it is one of the most New Jersey things ever. And I turned it over to someone who had once threatened that if they ever became the admin of it, they would delete the damn thing. What has he done? He's turned it into a cult of personality is what he's done. So.
An homage to himself.
Yes. And I love the guy. Love the guy to death. And the thing is, I made him admin for it as a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, you claim you're going to, go ahead, buddy.
Go for it. Have fun with that.
I didn't.
It is one of the most posted in Let's Talk Craft Beer groups in the.
I think there's only one Let's Talk Craft Beer group that's more active than New Jersey, and I think it's actually Texas.
It's Texas because that's the first one that Steve did. Yeah,
it's where it started, and we've got a lot of friends that post on it.
This is true.
We have a lot of friends there.
True. We got to go to Texas. We
got
too many friends in Texas not to get down there. So.
I'm going, John. I'm going next April for my birthday trip.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing Austin, San Antonio. I might get over to Houston. I haven't figured it all out, but it is centered on Austin because Austin's the capital of Texas barbecue, one. And two, what else is in Austin? One of my bucket list breweries is in Austin.
Go ahead.
Jester King.
Right.
So, yeah, so it'll start off in Austin, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But April of next year is going to be in Texas. So,
and if I do get down there, maybe we take 2 days before we come back and drive up to Springfield.
Oh yeah.
Who the fuck's in Springfield? Nobody lives in Springfield.
Would anybody go to Springfield, Missouri on purpose?
And frankly, we'd have to drive through the goddamn Ozarks and ding, 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 ding.
Hey, there's a page that we posted often starts with Ozark. So,
yeah. But also, John, which one of us is bringing the bow and arrow?
That'll be you.
Definitely take
because you're gonna be the one that you're the one with the pretty mouth.
Places where you never be heard from again.
Well, as long as we don't go with Ronnie Cox and Ned Beatty and Burt Reynolds, we're good.
Yeah,
Burt Reynolds is the one who saved them all. So
this is true.
You gotta go with Burt.
Yeah.
Always go with Burt.
Always go with Burt. Anyway, all right,
gentlemen. If you got his Trans Am, you won't spend too much time in the.
Oh no! Hey, and speaking of that, my handle, and it was for 2 reasons. All right, not 3 like I know you're going to bring up, but 2 reasons. It was for 2 reasons. My CB handle back in the day. No, Snowman. Because I love Smoking the Bandit, and I skied so much back in the day. So,
and it's all the below that he did as well.
I told you were going to go with the third one. I told you.
Do you know the commercial value of this mountain? Name the movie.
Oh, damn it! You said it. I'm like, I can hear it. I'm watching the movie right now with my eyes closed.
Said by the same guy who played Booger.
Oh, Better Off Dead.
I want my $2.
Better Off Dead.
Where's my $2?
Was it the K? It was that the K12.
I don't know what the K was.
K12. It was K2 is a ski. So it wasn't the K2. And
well, the K2 is named after the second highest mountain in the world, next to Everest.
So maybe it was the K2. K12 is a saw in firefighting, but
that's true. The K tool.
The K, yeah, that too. All right, okay. Gentlemen.
Where?
Last little bit of I use that term loosely.
That very loosely.
There you go. Cheers, my last little sip here of this drink.
Oh, I made another of mine.
You made another, of course.
I made another because this 9 o'clock meeting is going to be so fun. And the best part about it is with the Japan logistics team.
Lovely. And my last little bit of beer.
I finished mine. My stein is now empty.
There you go.
And John knows why I drank out of a stein today.
In 2 days, he will be on his way to Bavaria.
In 2 days, I will be in Bavaria. Tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern, I will be flying off.
Don't forget your can.
Yeah, hold on. Oh no, I'm not going to go that direction. So that's why I went that direction. There was a crash, a bang, and
don't do that.
Do a lot of damn.
You don't want to break another glass. You don't want to do that.
No, actually, all that's on the wing this time are big bottles of booze. I can go around them. Hold on. I'm going to be bringing this can. It is emptied. It is cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
It is sitting next to a bunch of stuff that needs to go into my brand new suitcase.
There you go. Bring it with you, and
at the very worst, I will find a Weihen's Stefaner sign at the door or something, and take a picture of the can next to it. In the brewery.
No, yeah, I mean, at least do that so you have it. But if anybody at the brewery can hold the can and take a picture,
I will try to get our tour guide.
That'd be awesome
to do it.
That'd be great. I'd love that, and we'll post it and tag them in it. That'd be awesome. But yeah. That'd be great. And next Tuesday's Log Room Guys show, guest. Maybe
I don't know. I've reached out to a couple of breweries in Munich that claim to be craft breweries, and being a craft brewery in Germany That's brave. I love the bravery.
It is. It is.
And hopefully I'll hear from them soon or on the show. I will be visiting them before the show begins. But the one thing that will trump it, if I can get anybody from Hun Stefano to agree to come on the show, or at least go Facebook Live while John's still deep in sleep.
Try to do it a little later.
I will try to do it a little later, but if I can get anybody from Hun Stefano to agree to come on the show later in the day, we shall see. So it's very, very up in the air. I'm guessing if I was to put my money on it, John, I'm in my hotel room doing it by myself.
That's fine. And I have three German beers that I'm drinking. So
I will definitely have. Probably.
You should at the very least you should get some beer there and have it on the show that night. So you actually bought it in Germany, so you're drinking in it.
I will have at that.
It's not like you're gonna bring anything from home anyway. So if you drink any beer, you got it there.
I'll be bringing some stuff home, guaranteed. And you got to remember.
I meant on the show next Tuesday night. You get stuff for the show.
Yeah. And you have to remember, I will have already been to Bamberg and back.
Right. Exactly.
I may have something.
Yeah, and if they do have any of that Schwartz beer, just bring home enough for me too. That's all.
I don't care to bring it home because I still have a can of it left, John. All I care to is have it on tap.
I know you want it on tap.
Imagine having it on tap.
And you're going to get another 2 of these. But
because you know damn well that I'm going to Facebook Live it and tag you.
Of course you are.
Yeah. On the Locker Room Guys Facebook page.
Absolutely. All right.
Expect the Locker Room Guys Facebook page to become very, very active in the next 3 days.
Everybody, please check out what's going on the Facebook page over the next week.
Because it's not just Germany, it's also Prague.
It's going to be Prague afterwards and the show next week. And tomorrow morning, the article for Spite and Dival goes live.
Oh, that's the heartbreak.
I tweeted it and everything else, so go check that out as well. But we'll even share it on the Edit Chaser page just to generate a little bit more content on that page.
The horror.
Exactly. But on that note, we will be live 2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks from tonight, yeah.
2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from tonight, we'll be live with this show again. And we'll be having another. Maybe we'll do our Manhattans that night. Maybe we'll.
We won't have our.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be just getting back. So yeah.
Yeah, we won't have our Bible by then.
We'll do the show after that, maybe. But we'll have
maybe.
Let's do just a whiskey neat night.
A whiskey neat.
Whiskey neat.
We can do that.
Whiskey neat. So we're actually
whiskey night and a beer.
Yeah.
So it's more. This is going to be more of a Boilermaker kind of thing.
I mean, you can shoot it if you want, or you just drink the whiskey while you're drinking the beer. Whichever.
I'm going to do that. I'm just going to.
I will do that too.
On the same page.
Whiskey neat night done.
Or we can do depth charges.
We can do. Hey, I'll do that.
I will not.
That'll be a very short show.
It'll be a 20-minute show and we're done. We're done.
Good night.
Exactly. All right.
And we're out.
On that note, we will wrap the show for today. I want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website. And don't forget to visit our website. All End It Chaser info will be on www.loggerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, which at the moment is just Facebook. And that's at End It Chaser.
Oh, we're not on YouTube yet?
No. Hold on. I didn't get there yet.
I'll step
and
off.
Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook and our YouTube channel, which is the Locker Room Guys, the Locker Room Podcast Network. Every other Wednesday around 6:30 p.m.
I love the fact that we're a goddamn network now.
Absolutely, we're a network now. And for and the sports podcast is on the Locker Room Podcast
on the network, too. Yes.
And for those of you who just want to listen to it,
and Tom's on the network with
at the pub. Absolutely.
At the pub. Thank you very much.
And if you want to just listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, TuneIn, Podcast Data, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you'll find the End It Chaser podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Dave, enjoy Bavaria and Czechia.
How can I not?
Exactly. Tune into the Log Room Guys show next Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time and get an update on Dave's
Don, it's gotta
progress.
be earlier because otherwise that'd be 12:30 at night my time. We're
6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time.
Can we maybe do 5?
It depends on what's going on during the day with me.
We'll figure it out.
We'll be brewing next week, so so
you do it for the brew house.
I don't know if I can do it there, but we'll talk about it next. Pay attention to when the podcast is going to be, but it will be on Tuesday regardless.
Earlier than usual.
But check it out and enjoy. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you soon.
And cocktails.
And cocktails.
Beer and cocktails.
Drink a lot of beer and cocktails, but drink responsibly.
Remember, this is And a Chaser.
This is And a Chaser. There you go. And we'll talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.
Watch it.